Hi, friends. Come on and join us with your improvised props, blankets, blocks, mats at home, and we'll do our lunchtime yoga. There we go. Find what you need to guide you through your practice. Have it nearby so you don't have to go searching for it. It's right there for you. Prop as you like. Let your hands face down. Close your eyes if you like. Or of course find that soft gaze over the tip of your nose and find your slow, steady breath. And remember, you can take a moment to do that wherever you are, whether you be on a yoga mat or not. And perhaps that's the great lesson. Learning to breathe every single moment possible given to us. Checking in with foundation as your toes stretch, your feet arch. Your sits bones press down, your navel pulls in and up, and your shoulders roll. And that beautiful heart center opens, if you like, giving yourself your own assist. Your middle finger and thumb can press into the chest, and your chest presses back. And while that heart is opening, you feel the back of your heart strengthen and support that opening rather than hiding. However tempting it may be to crawl back inside and hide in the cave, coming out in the sunshine. Inviting palms to meet, thumbs push, feeling heartbeat. Your rhythm. The rhythm that connects us all, whether we know it or not, whether we're grasping that or not, inviting that connection. Opening hands to meet, in cups. So the outer edges of hands meet, and you cup your hands, and you imagine being able to gather all that you need in this moment. However you think of gathering. Some of us consider herbs, flowers, vegetables, fruit. Some of us consider loved ones, feelings, strengths, anything that helps you feel strong and well nurtured. Middle finger, thumb meet and twirling your wrist, circling your wrist either in front of you or up above you, and really opening up, reversing the twirl, reversing the breath, working with inhale, working with exhale. And we'll do that once more. Releasing any stressors being held in the joints of the arms. Feeling them move right through any of the places giving the sensation of discomfort or pain. Imagining your spine as an antenna reaching all the way to the heavens, tuning in to higher frequencies, to higher vibrations, welcoming that vibration to guide us. Crossing at the forearms or the wrists, opening all the fingers, bending at the elbows, checking in with foundation again, perhaps considering a great circle with a rainbow of people sitting together, supporting each other. Women remembering our job here to nurture, to support, rather than to compete with. Bringing hands down to frame the heart center and making a wish for yourself, for a dear one, for someone you don't even know. Choose one. And on that first star you see tonight, remember that wish. Palms meet, fingers interlace, arms lengthen. If that doesn't work for you, bring your arms long. Let the tops of hands meet. Cross the wrists, palms, fingers interlace. Palms together, that is. And you'll breathe your hands into heart center. Inhale, lengthening arms. And exhale, bringing hands to the heart center. Keep moving. Keep breathing. Noting the balancing of the brain by crossing the midline. Encouraging focus as we move like this. Encouraging calm. They all go together. Balance, focus, calm. And this movement has an added gift of helping us to feel more settled, releasing anger even. And so that does not mean not to feel anger. Anger can move us to do great, courageous things. It does help us to not store the anger. When we store anger, it makes us sick. Next time the hands find heart center, stay a moment. Undo your arms, reach hands up overhead. And as your palms make their way down the midline, sound Om as you wish. Om. Two more. Om. One more. Undoing your hands, undoing your legs, and inviting one shin in front and one shin to the side. And if you like, that side foot can lift up onto your blanket if it helps the ankle release. You could have props in front of you, and on an inhale, we'll lengthen, and on an exhale, we'll bow forward to support the forehead somehow, and that way you can rest your neck. So if the floor works, that's what you'll do. Slow, steady breathing. You choose very active fingertips, palms, elbows lifted, or you rest, or you support. So we may, of course, each look a little differently here, and that's okay because this is each of our practices. On an inhale, lifting your head and heart as your hands move towards your upper body. We'll start with the shoulders above the hips as we move side to side. And eventually you may find you want to move a little closer to the mat or not. And of course, if there's any low back tension in particular, less of a twist typically is the advice. Twisting is a wonderful cleaning out to digestive system. So you'll see what works for you. And we experiment. And if we try one way and it wasn't just right, we try the other way and we figure it out. Next time you make your way to the side that has the foot in front, we'll place that hand down, lift the hips, and then choose arm across from the shoulder or reaching up to the heavens again, tuning in with the higher frequencies, the higher vibrations. Exhale, releases the seat with the gaze as you're ready. Whenever you want to take longer and breathe, please do and stay there. Don't rush. Release the hurries and worries as we move to the other side. Take a moment to let both sits bones press down, even the side that wants to pop up a bit. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bow forward. Support yourself as you wish, as you need. Slow, steady breathing. It's an inhale that begins to lift the head and heart, and again we'll walk from one side to the other with the claw-like fingers, the cupped palms, giving yourself what you need. When you return to the side that has the foot in front, we'll stay. Press down, lifting up, opening up, inviting connection, inviting release. And the top hand releases with the seat, and we'll slide the back foot around, bringing inner edges of, bringing soles of feet together, holding ankles or toes as you wish. Of course, you can slide the blocks underneath the knees if it's helpful. Baddha Konasana, your cobbler's pose. And while you're holding on to pull in and up and release those good strong shoulders, also imagine being able to push the knees down a bit, releasing entire inner edges of legs perhaps, or maybe you feel it a bit differently. And then as your feet move in front of you, you might continue to support the knees. You might find something to prop on top of your legs, and we'll inhale to lengthen and then exhale, bow forward as you're ready. No hurries, no worries. Moving into your turtle shell, moving into your star of Tara, Karmasana or Tadasana, depending on what's needed in this moment. A little darkness to restore until we're ready to sparkle and shine again. Touching base with that beautiful breath, giving yourself permission to pull it up through the navel center and to round the upper back even more as you release the head and neck even more. On an inhale, lifting head and heart, blanket moves to the side, And as you press into your fingertips, you bring the feet back towards your body and you open up to Lotus Flower Mudra. Breathing some sparkle and shine into the darkness, allowing ourselves to move through wherever we are, the shadows, the darkness, the light, and being there for each other as we're able. And then as you release your feet, giving those knees a great big hug, pressing down to lift up and lengthen that spine, and we'll take it to windshield wiper, hands behind you, knees, feet together, moving side to side. As the knees push down, the heart center stays open, the back is not rounding. And next time you move side to side, the feet come center. We'll heel toe the feet as wide as mat. If you don't mind, you may have to adjust your hands to open heart again. Windshield wiper with the wide stance. You may stay here, or you might start to move to one side, lift the hips, and then on your breath, take it to the other side, lifting and reaching. Keep moving. Keep breathing. And next time you move side to side, we'll cross at the ankles. And you may decide to move off to the side to find your way to table, or to simply roll forward. Take any time you need to make a cushion for your knees, to set the blocks up or your books so you have balance during your transitions. And the knees find their way under the hips. You choose now. The toes could tuck under, or the tops of feet can release. The wrists are under the shoulders or a little bit in front of. And on an inhale, finding your cow, and on an exhale, finding your cat. Elbows have a tiny bend, undoing any super straight arms. Next time you make your way to cat, stay, release the head and neck. Bring the wrists directly under the shoulders, pull navel in and up a bit more. Imagine being able to empty out any and all thinking, any and all thoughts, emptying it into our river and letting it flow, all of that, to the ocean. The waves will take them away, making space for the breath. On an inhale, lengthening the spine, bringing the hands a bit in front of shoulders. We'll step the left knee next to the right, and we'll push the right heel back, gazing to a point that doesn't move as you wish. Adding the opposite arm on, you've got it. Keeping that heel in line with the hip, and then toe tips reach up, fingertips just barely touching down, working with balance, working with strength of the navel center. And then inhale brings you center, and we'll reach back, keeping fingers and toes active, or maybe connecting. If you're connecting, notice the tendency for the foot to cross the midline. Encourage heel and knee back in line with hip. Releasing to child's pose, knees come wide, big toes touch, making a pillow for your forehead. Releasing your seat towards your heels, giving yourself what you need. Resting arms, active arms. Brain and breath working together, best friends. On an inhale, moving to table, other side, finding balance, right knee toward the left, left heel pressing back, encouraging heel in line with hip rather than below or above. And as you find your soft gaze, the opposite arm reaching forward, you've got it, tippy toes reaching up, fingertips reaching down, keep breathing. Inhale, center, exhale, reaching back, fingers, toes, stretching, reaching, staying active, making the connection as you're ready. Nice. Taking it to child's pose, the knees together if that makes sense for you, the arms alongside. If knees together does not help you release or breathe, don't do it. Please take it wide. Inhale, lifting head and heart, and just for a moment remembering your modified dog with your hands in front of shoulders, your knees down, the toes tucked, and your hips come above the knees rather than so far behind. So it's different than child's pose. And your forehead may be lifted just a teeny bit off the floor so your ears are inside your arms. And even here we can do a little pulling in and up through the elbows to keep the arms strong and stable. If you wish, inhale to table pose, and exhale, take it up and back to the full downward facing dog. And you can bend one knee and then the other. And you can lift one heel and then the other. And then let's take a moment to bend both knees, lift both heels. See your knees in line with your heels rather than wider or closer. Gaze to your thumbs. Fingers are spread wide. Give those elbows a tiny bend and a little pull in. Lots of steps forward. 2 steps forward or even a half to the top of mat where we'll find half forward fold. And maybe your hands to your shins, of course, if you prefer blocks or books, that's what you'll use. And follow your exhale to the full forward fold. Head and neck releasing. Slow, steady breathing. Coming up in steps or reverse swan dive as it works for you. Hands make their way down the midline. Top of mat or wherever you're comfortable in your space, grounding through the four corners of the feet, truly pulling in and up through the knees, pulling in and up through the navel, rolling back through the shoulders, and feeling your body quite active. As you close eyes, check in with balance, have a giggle with balance, and then as you gently open eyes, find Pranasthana, see where center of breathing resides in you. And now take all of that with you as you reach the hands up overhead, fingers interlaced, palms to sky. As you exhale, bending at the elbows, palms face the ceiling, chin tilts, keep breathing. It's an inhale that lengthens the arms, and exhale that releases the hands. Hasta Vinyasas, inhale out and up, warming the shoulders, but all parts of the body, preparing for Surya Namaskar. On an exhale, bring the hands behind you, hold elbows, almost elbows, or find Prastanjali. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, take it to the first side. Inhale, opening. Exhale, turning. Inhale, center. Exhale, second side. Inhale, opening. Exhale, turning. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. Again, inhaling out and up. Palms to sky. Exhale, halfway forward fold, taking on shape of numeral 7, pressing through palms, releasing through seat. And on an inhale, reaching arms out to the side. On an exhale, arms move overhead, ears in line with arms. 2 more. After the third reach forward, your palms push forward. You lift to lengthen, and we'll exhale to release. All at your own timing, with your own breathing. Sun salutation. Inhale, reaching arms out and up, palms to sky. Exhale, lifting heels. Slow, steady breathing. Following exhale to half squat, Ardha Utkatasana. Checking in with your foundation, your feet, your toes, your knees just a smidge behind toes, maybe arms lift. If the shoulders are not happy, hold upper legs. Press down, lift up, rather than lean so far forward. Let it be an inhale that brings fingertips to toe tips, or find your blocks to help you step right foot back. Keep the lunge pulling it up through inner edges of thighs. Push back through the heel. Gently bend that back knee. Let it be lifted, bless you, up off the floor just a smidge for a moment as you gaze forward, experiencing front body. And then the back knee settles and the front foot meets the back foot. We'll take a modified plank. Knees down, toes tucked, upper body active. So your hips press a little forward, your elbows bend a bit, tops of feet release, toenails release, methodically making our way to the mat and sliding into our Sphinx pose. You've got it. Elbows under shoulders. Wrists in line with elbows. Releasing head, heart toward the mat. Inhale, lifting. And twice more. And one more. Hips moving toward the mat, front of hips moving toward the mat, allowing the low back to be quite content. As you release the head and heart, hands near the chest as you press down, the elbows stay close by, and you make your way back. Child's pose, Balasana, modified dog, or a puppy dog, or a full dog as you wish, choosing wisely. In the full dog, let's push both heels toward the mat and press both hips toward the wall behind you. Gently release the yeses out of the head and neck. Gently release the nose out of the head and neck. And now we'll lift the left heel up in line with the left hip. Push through both heels. Pull that top knee underneath you. Push through your back foot. Find the lunge again, pulling it up. Just for a moment, bend that back knee. It's not touching down just yet. Giving front of body sensation perhaps of release. And push off the back foot to make your way forward, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana, followed by full Uttanasana, forward fold. Head and neck releasing. Even here, knees in line with the heels. If you prefer, you might hold on to the elbows, letting gravity be a friend here. Oh, I forgot, we're working with that low back, aren't we? So a half forward fold and the knees slightly bent. Exhale, hands to hips, and inhale all the way up. Sun salutation, moving with your breathing. Perhaps you'll bring the heels up with the arms. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana, or the full squat. If you're working on it, the heels may lift, the arms may lower, and eventually, when balance arrives, the heels release, maybe the arms lift. Let yourself be where you need to be in this moment. Nice. Inhale, fingertips to toe tips. Left foot stepping, keep the lunge upon arrival, pull in and up through inner edges of thighs, push back through the heel, invite the second and third toe in line with the heel, and then we'll gently bend that back knee just a bit, again gazing forward, experiencing front body, and then the knee might come all the way down as you step to modified plank. This time as your hips come forward, maybe you lift up and push back to the high plank, slow, steady breathing. Exhale to medium plank and take it all the way down to the mat. Stay close, hands under shoulders, fronts of hips pressing down like you mean it. Tops of feet and toenails pressing down like you mean it. Let your next inhale lift the hands, keep breathing, keep pushing through the fronts of your hips into the mat. And then hands release, and you take it back to child's pose as you wish. Yeah, and you know to give your wrists what they need to rest, maybe palms facing open. As you lift the head and heart, making your way to modified dog, full Adho Mukha Svanasana as you wish. Checking in with that good foundation. Again, maybe you'll press your heels toward the floor and press your hips toward the wall behind you. This time we'll lift the right heel in line with right hip and pull that top knee underneath, pushing through the back, keeping the lunge a moment. Again, the back knee bends just a smidge, and then pushing off to step forward. Half forward fold upon arrival. And if you're working with sensation of discomfort in the low back, you can stay with the half forward fold. You might see which feels best, bending the knees or keeping the legs long. And from the half forward fold, we'll bring hands to hips. And then coming all the way up. Take it through sun salutation and let's meet in the down dog. So you move with your breathing now. Inhale, lengthening. This time we'll invite the left tippy toes to reach up as high as they'll go. Keeping the hips facing the floor, so we won't bend that top knee just yet. When we do bend the top knee, it will be to pull the knee underneath the body and then push forward. Keep the lunge, set up for warrior two. Front heel makes a line to middle of back foot, windmill the arms up. Find your hips. Make a line between the feet so you feel well balanced. I'll turn to face you and we'll give the inner edges of the thighs a little assist. So the front inner edge of thigh is going to receive a little push down and the back inner edge of thigh is going to receive a little pull out, and then the push, and then the two long arms. And then we'll invite those shoulders above the hips. Sometimes we check in with the back hand. Palms face the ceiling. Front arm makes its way down to the front thigh. For a variation of extended side angle, we'll reach the top hand out across from the shoulder, making sure that shoulder plugs in a bit and gliding arm overhead. And as you press down, maybe you'll find a little space to open up into through your heart center, through your side body. And then bringing your fingertips down outside of your toe tips and stepping it back to your down dog once again. And this time, your right tippy toes will reach up as high as they'll go. And again, we'll keep the hips facing the floor. So you can undo the flexed foot, reach through the pointed foot, and keep the hips facing floor without opening hips, without bending knee. And then when we do bend the knee, we're pulling the knee underneath, pushing through the back foot, finding the warrior two foundation, setting up for Virabhadrasana 2, and finding our hips again. So I'll turn to face. We'll give that front inner edge of thigh that little push down, and the back a little pull out. Inviting shoulders above the hips, two long arms. Gazing over front, fingers as you're ready. Nice. Palms facing open, moving into that variation of extended side angle where we find open heart, top hand reaching out across from the shoulder, plugging shoulder in, gliding, hand overhead. Breathing as you root down to connect, you reach up and open up. Playing with your gaze, if you like, to the floor for balance, across from you for neutral neck, maybe towards your fingertips. Top hand reaching down. And this time we'll push off that back foot and step all the way forward. Find your half forward fold. Long, quiet spine. Find your hands to your hips, and inhale brings you all the way up. Grounding through your first foot and giving your other knee a hug. Gazing to a point that doesn't move and bringing that knee out to the side as you're ready. Notice if a flexed foot or pointed toes helps you stay there. Breathe. Returning center, release, and find your way to the other side. Other foot grounds, other knee bends, out to the side you go. Returning center, take it for a walk. Let's return to that first side and bring your other foot in front. And then find your eagle legs. You could stay with your hands at the heart center, or you can add the opposite arm on top. Tops of hands move toward each other. Bottom hand might move toward a wrist or fingers to a palm. Fingertips reaching up for Garudasana, your eagle. You can stay here, or you might bow forward. As you press down, inhale, lifts you up, unwind, find your 5-pointed star. Your feet might move as wide as the mat. Your arms come long. Hands to your hips, toe, heel it together, eagle pose, other side, other foot grounds. Other foot moves in front, and then to the side. And you make the choice that works for you and your balance. Hands to the heart center or opposite arm on top. As you press down, lifting up, unwinding, finding that 5-pointed star, making space for the sparkle, for the shine. Hands to your hips. We'll heel, toe it completely together on an inhale, bend knees. Find chair pose with feet and knees together and see about lifting the heels and coming all the way down, taking the feet apart, again, finding something to press into as you find balance. Perhaps you'll create a little ledge of something for your heels as you move into your goddess squat or your malasana. So feet are definitely wider than hips width. If you're seated up on something, your feet come in front of you. If your heels are lifted, your feet are underneath you. And you can always roll up a bit of mat if you don't have anything else around you, no worries. There's always a way to improvise. Palms press, elbows push a bit. Long, quiet spine. Breathing. Fingers releasing. And we'll reach one hand outside the foot while the arm stays inside the knee. The other hand reaches across from the shoulder or up to those higher vibrations, higher frequencies. Top hand releasing and moving to the other side. Releasing the hand, the seat, the gaze, bringing the legs long, propping or not, up to you, giving the knees a gentle shake as you press your palms into something. If you're propped up, you may need to press into your blanket. And we'll give one knee a bend, and that foot could stay inside your leg or it could step over. Both feet are active. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, turning toward the knee. So this is another one of those postures where you'll do less of a twist if your back has some healing to do. Your back hand might be pressing into fingertips or palm, depending on how you're propped or not. Your gaze is to the side of the room, or eventually you might start gazing behind you over that shoulder. A variation of Marichyasana. And then inhale brings you center, and let's give ourselves the counter twist. Inhale, returns you center, and we'll move to the other side, giving the other knee a hug. Again, the foot can be inside the leg, or you'll step over that long leg. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale as you're ready. Turning to give the knee a hug. Good. Noticing the sits bones pressing down. Sometimes we have one side that wants to pop up, and we give it a little layer of cushion to help it settle. Inhale brings you center, and exhale, counter twist, please. Inhale brings you center, undo the legs, and we'll find our way to feet at the top of mat, and you choose. You could bend through the knees, or you can lengthen the legs. Be sure there's safe space behind you, please, and we'll lift the arms to lower in slow motion, one vertebra at a time until you make it all the way down to your head, bending the arms. The backs of arms are pressing down, bending the knees. The heels are under the knees. And as your elbows move in towards your upper body, you're pressing down to lift up. Give your low back a little nudge. Lift your hips a little higher. Imagine the space being created between your legs, your seat, your back, and the floor. Your shoulders and your head are down. Keep breathing. The tendency here is for the knees to go very wide. So for a moment, imagine the inner edges of your thighs holding onto a block, and maybe that will help everything come into alignment. On an exhale, imagine being able to release your spine in order from upper to mid to lower until finally your hips and your tail come down. Take a moment. You might rest the knees together. You might simply keep the knees bent. Second bridge pose, Setu Bharvangasana, heels under the knees. If it helps you to bend the arms, give that a try. It usually helps me to open up a bit more. If you want to bring the arms long and press the palms down, that's an option. And then, once the hips are raised on the inhale, you might even bring the fingers to interlace underneath you, and you would scooch one shoulder under and then the other. Pressing down to lift up. Follow the exhale to release the hands, the arms, the spine in order of the vertebrae until the tail makes its way down. You have one more posture. It might be a bridge, it might be a modified wheel. If you're trying the modified wheel, remember your feet may come much wider compared to bridge, yoga bridge we're referring to. Your fingers flip back towards your shoulders, and your hands may even set up wider. And you do as appropriate for you. It's an inhale that lifts you up, and maybe you'll move to the top of the head. And then even here, we're inviting those elbows to come in a little bit more. And you promise me, as you release, you tuck the chin to keep the neck safe, if that's where you are. And when you're ready, in that bridge, you've got it. Releasing slowly but surely. Bringing your arms out to the side in line with your shoulders, letting your knees zigzag side to side. Slow, steady breathing. As your knees find their way to one side, lift the foot that seems to be your front foot and let it rest on top of the other knee. You can always, slide something under the knee or both knees if that feels like a bit much. Your gaze is up to the ceiling, or you're gently turning your head away from the knees. Keep breathing. We're going to prepare our space here a moment for Shavasana. Your head comes center, and then your knees come center. And you let your lower body switch sides. So knees move to the other side. And the other foot lifts on top of knee. Arms long. Sometimes the shoulders need a little adjusting, lifting, releasing back down. If your head moved at all, return head to center. Return knees to center. If you need to release the low back before going anywhere else, you can let the knees rest against each other. And then let's take a moment to press the entire spine into the mat. So there's no more space between any part of your back and the mat. It's all pressing down. And feel the front of your body active. And then as you're ready, give one knee a hug into your upper body and then the other. And lift the forehead, the nose to your knees. Hold on to your elbows, almost your elbows. Give it all a big squeeze. And exhale, release to your resting position as it works for you. Letting the feet flop away from each other, letting the hands rest away from the body. Some of us need a little roll of blanket under the knees. Some of us need a covering of blanket over the body. So you do what works for you here. For our friends at home, if you're wanting to take a longer rest than we do for the matter of Instagram land time, please do, and do your breath work after. Releasing your fingers and your toes. Resting your ankles and your wrists. Knees, elbows resting. Hips, jaw bones releasing. Imagine all around the mouth taking rest. Any funny faces we're making because we're wearing a mask, letting all of that release. Around your nose, resting. Around your eyes, releasing. Even around your ears, resting. Your entire scalp, releasing. Imagine even your hair could rest. Gently, when you're ready, beginning to wiggle fingers, toes. Maybe rounding ankles and wrists in one direction and then the other.